You know, when you think about cannabis production, the biggest threats aren't always the ones you can see. We're not talking about pests or security issues. We're talking about an invisible battlefield, a constant fight against contamination, where just one tiny mistake can cost a fortune. So let's gear up and break down the rules of engagement.
So let me ask you, what do you think is the #1 biggest risk in a professional grow or a processing facility? Is it security? Maybe pests? Or is it something else entirely?
Well, whatever you're thinking, the answer is probably not it, because the most relentless, expensive, and damaging threats are the ones you literally can't even see.
These are the enemies we're fighting every single day. We're talking about mold spores, bacteria, and allergens from the outside world. And they are everywhere, just hitching a ride on our clothes, our hands, even in our breath. One single contamination event can mean failed lab tests, huge product recalls, and a total loss of consumer trust.
So how in the world do you fight an enemy you can't see? You do it with armor. And in this world, that means personal protective equipment, or PPE. And listen, this isn't just about checking a box or following some rules. It's about creating a totally sterile barrier to protect the product's purity from your head all the way down to your toes.
All right, let's start with masks. A mask's main job is to keep your breath and all the little microbes in it away from the product. But, not all missions are created equal. For general stuff like prepping edibles, a simple surgical mask will do the trick. But when things get dusty during trimming, or if you're working with solvents, you've got to upgrade to an N95 respirator for some real-deal filtration. But look, just wearing a mask is kind of useless without proper discipline. If there's a gap around your nose, it's not working, period. Pulling it down under your chin, that contaminates the mask and could contaminate the product. And re-wearing a disposable mask, you might as well just send a formal invitation to every bit of bacteria in the room.
Next up, your eyes. Eye protection is absolutely non-negotiable anytime there's a chance of something flying through the air. I mean, think about it. A little splash of sanitizer, a flake of dry flour, even a puff of keef. That can cause some serious irritation or even an injury. So the rule here is super simple. If it might splash, flake, or fly, your eyes need a shield.
Okay, now for the main shield, your outerwear. That apron or lab coat is the single most important barrier separating all the gunk from the outside world, the lint, the dust, maybe the pet hair on your street clothes, from the clean production environment.
But that shield is only going to be effective if you follow some really strict protocols. That lab coat, it has to stay on site, always. Wearing it into the break room, or even worse, the restroom, turns it from a protective layer into a taxi for contamination. And that's exactly why you've got to have separate, designated bins for clean and dirty items.
All right, let's talk gloves. Your hands are going to be right on the product. Now, you've got options, but nitrile is the professional standard for a really good reason. Latex can trigger some pretty bad allergies, and vinyl, it tears way too easily. Seriously, saving a few pennies on vinyl gloves is just not worth the risk of a tear that could contaminate a whole batch. For strength and safety, nitrile is really the only way to go.
So, how often should you be changing those gloves? The short answer is constantly. The second you touch your phone, a doorknob, or even your own face, those gloves are compromised. Changing them between every single batch isn't just a friendly suggestion, it is the only way to prevent cross-contamination of those precious terpenes and cannabinoids.
This quote right here really says it all. You've got to treat gloves like single-use tools, not long-term equipment. They're disposable for a reason. They are a one-and-done tool designed for one specific task. The moment that task is finished, or the glove is compromised in any way, it's gotta go. No exceptions.
Okay, here are 2 pro tips that really separate the amateurs from the experts. First, always wash your hands before you put on gloves. If you don't, you're just trapping sweat and bacteria right against your skin, basically contaminating the gloves from the inside out. Second, never double glove. It just creates this false sense of security and can actually trap moisture and microbes between the layers, making things even worse.
And the final piece of our armor protects the entire environment: boot covers. Your shoes are total magnets for dirt, pollen, and all sorts of microbes. In those high control areas like kitchens or clean rooms, boot covers are mandatory to stop those contaminants right at the door. And just like with lab coats, you never, ever wear them into a public area.
So, you have all the armor, but the gear itself is totally useless if you don't follow the right process for putting it on and taking it off. This is the critical ritual. We call it donning and doffing, and getting the sequence wrong can undo all of your hard work in an instant. The donning sequence, or putting it all on. It starts with the most important foundation, clean hands. From there, you build outwards. You put on your apron, then fresh gloves, then your mask, and finally, your eye protection if you need it. This order is specifically designed to minimize any contamination while you're gearing up.
Now, taking it off, doffing, is even more critical because now everything is potentially contaminated. So you work from the outside in. Gloves come off first and you peel them inside out. Then the apron gets rolled inward to contain anything on the surface. You take the mask off by the ear loops only, and the final step always is to immediately wash your hands.
So after all these steps and all these rules, let's bring it all home. Why does this invisible battle and all the armor you wear to fight it matter so darn much?
Because at the end of the day, it's just not enough to show up and put on the gear.
You have to use it right, every single time. Correct procedure is what separates a clean, compliant facility from one that's constantly fighting off contamination issues.
And this, right here, is the payoff. This is what you're protecting with every single glove change and every correct procedure. You're guaranteeing product purity, which in turn leads to successful lab tests. That protects consumer safety, and all of that together builds the most valuable asset any company has, brand trust.
So if you remember just one thing from all this, let it be this golden rule. From your hands to your tools to the surfaces you work on, if it touches the product or even touches something that will later touch the product, it absolutely needs to be clean and covered. That's how you win the battle on this invisible field.